Murder mystery. Ooh. Can I solve a murder? Can you solve a murder? My mother came home, she's like, I have a book for you. And I was like, I have a stack of books that I'm supposed to be reading. I have not read them yet. She got this one and I was like, oh, this is cool. It's called Can You Solve a Murder? And it is basically a choose your own adventure. I used to be addicted to the choose your own adventure books growing up. I'm really excited about this. Basically, it is a murder mystery that you have to solve because you're the detective. I've read like the first little bit about the book, how to solve it. So basically, it's the same as a choose where it's like you read and then we'll give you options. Turn to this page if you want to do this, turn to this page if you want to do that. I don't know what else to say. I just really am excited to get reading. So I'm gonna go do that now. Well, I have finished the first 14 pages. Now we have our first choice to make, but I'm gonna go over kind of the story so far and see where we are. I kind of slightly have this organized. I don't really know how to organize this, but on this side I have people who are kind of on our side. Sergeant McAdams, who is the person we're like mainly working with in here. This is our first assignment together. She just started here. The story takes place in England. She's actually from Scotland. She joined the English police because more excitement, and she's short, wiry, mid-30s, dark hair, ruddy, outdoorsy type. Zewal, I don't know how to say the name. I should Google it. I didn't. Description, tall, young, wants to be a detective, so he's kind of just a newer guy. And yeah, Dr. Walsh is the Dr. Walsh. Why do you keep saying Walsh? There's no L in it. It's Wash. She's old. It says she's pristine, has a pristine cut glass accent and looks as old as she sounds. It tells us we've worked with her a lot and we trust her implicitly, like all her stuff. So pretty good. That's who we know. This is who we're working with on our team. These two, we're getting along very well. And honestly, I don't trust her right now. Then over here I have the general stuff about the building and where we are. So we are at Finchcote Manor. That's a family that used to own this building. But now, I'm falling. Okay, good job. It is owned by this place that has like a wellness retreat, kind of health farm, asylum kind of vibe. They call it all three of those things like in the first page, so everyone can't really decide what it's called. The entrance has stone walls and then a gate that they had to pass through. There's a sign that has pastel colors and a rose, that's their logo. There's a bridge to get in after you get through the gates over a small river that leads up to the house. 4 stories, Gothic revival architecture, arched windows, leering gargoyles at every corner and joint. The inside is very like new and old because it's very old themed, but also new stuff like TVs, and like the reception has a bunch of computers and stuff. The TV screens have like a timetable of things to do: yoga, swimming, flower arranging, and plant care. There's a lot of people in the main entrance when we get in, mostly guests. The staffs wear a polo shirt with the Rose logo on it. It hasn't rained in weeks. It's the first week of September, really hot. And then the back of the building, once we head outside, which we'll get to in a sec, is very like falling apart and everything. This is my kind of drawing of what it looks like. I'll get into it in a second, but it's not very good and I think it's wrong. So these people, some of them, as you can see, don't have names yet. That's because these are like the NPCs that we're meeting that could have done it. Like these are our suspects over here. Carla Nesbitt, who we actually know a bit about. She's the MP of the town. She's wearing a white tennis outfit with a racket. She has a lunch engagement she needs to get to. So she really can't have being like standing here. She wants to get going, but she's not allowed to leave. She doesn't like that. They ask her and she just says, Harry probably just himself, because he was sick of everything. And like she's like, they said, because the detective's like, oh, you're like, people will be upset to hear that you care more about your lunch engagement than an innocent man. And she's like, innocent? No, he probably just himself. Yeah, and then she turns around and heads towards the east wing because she can't leave. And then the other two, one of them is the reception desk person who's just a young blonde woman. That's all we know for now. And then the other guy I'll get to, he's a tattooed man in gym clothing, and he's trying to get into a room I'll talk about in a second. I feel like I'm not doing a good job of like organizing this, but I don't know, my brain's everywhere. I'm trying my best. Next up is about the victim. We finally get that. So his name is Harry Kennedy. He's 50 years old, local housing developer. They call him a bigwig. They say he booked a week alone. He fell from the top floor, which is the 4th floor, 15-meter drop. He's laying on his back with his short hair matted with blood. He's wearing a white bathrobe that's soaking up the blood and boxer shorts. He has a handheld garden fork embedded in his chest, like right into his heart, and a red rose. They open his mouth and inside is a red rose. So definitely not a to yourself. Probably was dead before he hit the ground because the garden fork is like right in his heart. In his pockets, one had a nondescript metal watch, and then the other had a plastic key card with like the health retreats like logo and stuff on it. So they think it's his room card, but they haven't checked yet. So they McAdams tells Constable to go check. We're in like this is like the main entrance area that we walked into, and there's like a staircase here. I didn't draw it, but we go outside through a staff door. This is where I'm confused, because they say you go through the staff door, but then you take a right in the garden towards the tent where the body's hiding. But he fell out of the west wing. The staff building in the east and west wing being kind of a square. So the courtyard's in the center here, and then like the west and east wing pop out a bit. And then out here is just gardens, like wild gardens. The greenhouses, there's 2 greenhouses that they can kind of see from the distance. And then the east wing has a swimming pool, which will become important in a second. The phone is found on the ground, on the grass, 3 meters from where the body was. The screen is broken and it's so damaged the phone won't turn on. The room that he fell from on the 4th floor, that is actually a staff only room, and it's locked. Oh my gosh. Everything's gonna fall off. I'm gonna have to go retape all this up. It's a staff room, only room, it's locked. When the police get there to get into. Time of death is before 10:45 a.m. and she says that the garden fork would have taken force to stab, so it's not an accident. Yeah, so after we chat with her about that, we head upstairs to go look at the room that he fell from. I have a little drawing here that I gave up on because it's just a list of what we see when we're going up. So we go back to that main area they said where there's stairs. We go up the stairs. 2nd floor has like massage, yoga rooms. And then we go up another flight. We're heading in the west wing too. And then we head up another flight and there's like therapy rooms. And then the top floor has rooms with like numbers, like a hotel room. And then the one that he fell from is room 312, which has a sign that says staff only. And when they get in, it's like a storage closet kind of thing. Like it looks like it would have been a bedroom at some point, but they converted it into a storage room. So the door was locked and the key is missing from reception. So they had to go down and ask the house manager to let them in. That's the other thing that someone asked. He's supposed to go ask if the house manager is the only one has the key. Well, it's a good thing to find out, is figure out who else has the key, because he said it's missing from reception. Yeah, I wrote storage room page 12 because they had like a list of a lot of stuff that's in that room, and I was like, I don't know if I need to write down everything. I almost did, but I'm just gonna note that it was like a whole bunch. There were like boots, there was like, now I'm forgetting of it, like watering cans and just a bunch of stuff. Bloody sheets, like, and a hose, and then the blood led on a path out to the doors and out to the balcony. And there's a ceramic sink with blood on it and a weird strawberry scent in the air. And then once you got to the balcony doors had blood on them, and there was glass shattered into, like, it's like French style board doors with like the pane glass is what it said. So some of those panes, 2 of the panes were shattered. So it looked like there was a fight. Outside on the balcony, there's 2 potted plants. One of them we don't recognize. The other one is red roses, so that's probably the red rose that was in his mouth. On the balcony, there's like a bloody handprint. Yeah, he'd have to fall backwards. Like, it's weird because he's laying on his back when he's on the ground. From the balcony, it looks like the phone is almost like tossed, like it wasn't from when he fell and it just dropped. You as a detective are looking through the glass on the ground and you find a little bit of glass from a phone screen, not from the glass of the paned windows. You put that in a bag to send it off. The last kind of thought that happens is maybe someone in the pool in the east wing could have seen him fall, because it's like glass windows and it's on a lower floor, so they could have seen up and seen him fall if they were in the pool area by the window. So that's one of the things that they suggest maybe could have happened, or a good thing to ask. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I forgot to mention the tattoo guy. You see him, you don't hear any of his conversation, but you see him when you like walk up the stairs to go explore the room, the 312. He's talking to one of the police officers who's standing guard at that door not to let anyone in. He's like trying to get in or chatting with them. You can't really tell. And then he walks away before you get to the door. But that's it for the first chapter. So now we have to make a decision. The decision is, the receptionist is now circling the area with a watering can, refreshing many of the plants. The constable, I'm gonna call him the constable for now. I'll Google his name for the next time. Accommodates her, talking casually. They seem to be getting on well. So he's chatting with her. So I can join him in questioning the receptionist, or continue to the manager's office and get the report from the constable later. I'm thinking, originally when I had read this, I had like kind of hadn't finished and I was like, oh, what's the first one? And I was like, oh, I don't trust. But if it was McAdams that was doing a report on them, I wouldn't trust her. I'm gonna trust him. He seems to be pretty forgetful about asking certain questions though, because he did forget to ask. I just said he forgot to ask something. What was it? Oh, if the room card was the card key. But I'm gonna trust him to do the receptionist and go talk to the office manager. Do I want to? Oh, now I'm second guessing myself. I'm gonna join the questioning of the receptionist, and then I'm gonna head to the office manager after. He's the one that had the key to the room, which makes sense. So, but now, it is a good idea to ask her, because we can ask her I don't know if we actually can, but we should ask her about the key because she said the key was missing. I feel like I'm never gonna get through this book because this is taking me so long, but here we are with an update on everything that's happening. She was there that morning, and no one has been in that room in years, so she didn't even really realize the key was missing because she's never looked at that key. She keeps a key on her waistband that she can use to unlock a key box that has all the room keys. And she pointed to it, said there, it's not there. Her name's Jennifer too. And her and Stephen is the manager and owner. He's the only other one that has access to that key box. He also has spares of every key. That's what we learned from her. We also got to write down J1, which means it's something that will come up later because we did that interaction. But after that, we go to talk to the manager. His office is in the main area. It's extremely messy. There are books everywhere. It's chaotic. And it seems to be like that to cover up the cracks in the walls and everything because the house is kind of falling apart. So he's dark haired, young, in his 30s, wiry frame. He's wearing like one of their polo shirts, but it's really big on him. And that is because he found the body, was at the greenhouses watering the plants, and then headed back to his office because he had to make a phone call at 11. He ended up seeing the body, he ended up touching it, so the police took his clothing and he changed into spare stuff. He knew he wasn't supposed to, but he was just shocked. But he's also really mad because he wants them to leave because a bunch of people are canceling now, and one of their coaches canceled as well. He also calls the place a spa, or just a spa, which is another to the list of what they call this place. Oh, he has a lot of, we noticed that the biographies of the books he has in his office are all of like people who are fraudsters. He bought this building when it went up for sale and sold his nursery business. So that's what he used to do. Touch the body. Oh, he's nervous. When we ask about the keys, he says, oh, yep, that's the only key. And then he's like, the only key is in that drawer. And they're like, besides yours, of course. And then he nervously says, oh, yes, obviously. So a little bit nervous when talking about the keys. We also learn a little bit more about Henry. He said he's loud, entitled, and likes to charm the Rose woman. And Rose, when he's saying Rose woman, it's because they call their staff roses and they call their guest friends. And they can host up to 80 guests, and they have around 20 to 25 staff. So we learned that we already met Carla, the MP. So we learned that she and Harry didn't get along at all. They like avoided each other like the plague, and they actually got into an argument the night before around 7 o'clock after dinner at the tennis court. And then we also learned that the last thing he was seen at was, well, not exactly the last thing he was seen, but based on his schedule, he was supposed to be at a massage with Elena, this massage therapist, but she had told Stephen that he left early from his appointment, so I think I'm going to talk to her next because I want to find his last moments alive, who he was seen with last. He got along with this guy named Tank Destroyer, who apparently managed a website, got really rich off of that, and changed his name legally to Tank Destroyer. So, yeah. Oh, that's the other thing we did notice. Sergeant McAdams actually misses when he was chatting about the phone call. Oh, no, not the phone call. She misses that they call the staff roses, because she was too busy focusing on the guy's name being Tank Destroyer. So, again, just her not being very trustworthy, which is not good for us. But yeah, now we're given 3 options. Question Elena, the massage therapist, Carla, the MP, or Tank, the tech mogul. And my strategy is I'm gonna do Elena, the massage therapist, because that's what we know of at this moment is where he was last before he died. So I feel like that's smart because then we can kind of get a timeline going. So that's the strategy. Let's do it. We chatted with Elena, so basically what we got from her is she's shy, quietly spoken. She moved to England from Romania 5 years ago. She's worked at this hotel spa thing for 3 years. She has a sister, Roxana, who's married to an Englishman. She had an appointment, massage therapist appointment, like a massage appointment with Harry from 10 to 11. Obviously, we know he died between around 10:45 earlier. So last time he was seen live was 10:30, because at 10:30 he told her he had to leave because he had a phone call. She saw his phone. He had his phone with him, but it didn't go off. He just said, "Sorry, I have to go." She watched him walk into the hall, and then when he walked into the hall, she saw a Tank with all his tattoos running after her. So we now know that The tattooed dude that was trying to get into the room when the police were there is the same as Tank. That is Tank. He has all the tattoos. She couldn't hear what they were saying, but she could tell that Harry didn't look like he wanted to talk. She just hung out in the room. She was nervous about it because she didn't want to tell Stephen that she wasn't working because he wants them to always be working. So she just hung out in the room for the 30 minutes. Harry doesn't really care if he books and uses the full hour because he has a full package, which means he just kind of uses whatever. He doesn't have to pay for what he's doing. He just uses the entire things whenever he wants. So we're given 2 more options between what we can do. So next up, it's either question the MP or question Tank. So we already know that the MP and Harry had an argument the night before, but I feel like right now the goal is to figure out the current timeline of when he was last seen alive. And right now we know that the last time he's seen alive was at 10:30 talking to Tank. So I'm gonna talk to Tank next. I'm back because I forgot one thing. We chatted with her, the massage therapist, in the break room. And something to note about the break room is one thing I didn't really say about the office, but like all the books and clutter he had, there was a lot of plants everywhere. And the detective asks him, hey, do you have like a thing? Like, is it a hobby that all these plants? And he's like, no, this place is a holistic floral therapy is like their thing. And then they listed a whole bunch of different like, oh, they use the flowers for this and this and this and this. So it's like a thing there. But the break room it's on the main floor, not that that really matters. But it has tables and benches and no flowers at all. So every other room seems to have like a lot to like hide all the imperfections in the house and all the peeling paint and messes everywhere that the building's falling apart. But this room is just bare and has nothing in it besides tables and benches. I am back with my spooky mug. I got hot chocolate. Oh, I went to talk to Tank. So found out Tank's name, Thomas Ball. I can read. Basically, he made a website for computer programmers that sold to Google for $800 million. So he has money. He was doing yoga on the first floor when we found him. We went to Jennifer and she brought us to him. We take him to another room to interview him. He continues doing yoga well. And the yoga they're doing is like, they have flower petals all around them. That's why it's like reflecting back to the holistic flower stuff that they do. That's why they have flower petals all over while they do yoga to help, I don't know really what with. He calls the place a monastery. So that's another, I feel like I need a list of what people are referring to this place as because everyone calls it something different, which I don't know, I find that kind of interesting. But he says it's like a monastery, everyone treats it like one. Harry was fun because he didn't take things too seriously and he was a troublemaker. He says the last time he saw him was last night. They played tennis, went in the hot tub, and then went to separate beds. And then he starts flirting with McAdams. Yeah, and then the reason we saw him, I messed up. I said that they saw him going to the storage room in the morning. It was actually Harry's room he was trying to get into that the police officer was blocking. And the reason why he did that is because he lent Harry some of his gym equipment that's very expensive, a hydration vessel and a fitness band monitor, and he wanted them back. So that's why he went to the room. Oh, he has a trimmed beard, bald head, one eyebrow pierced. He calls the Carla. Her last name is Nesbit. They call her Nesbitch because they don't like her. He also calls Stephen Flower Boy. So he just hates everyone is what we're learning. But basically one of the reasons I don't like Carla is because she threatened to block Harry's plans for a new housing development in Burrowlands estate, but she blocked it because of floodplain. It's a floodplain, which I Googled and it said like a area of land that can flood sometimes, so she obviously blocked it because to protect the town. Like she said, it was better for the town to leave it. They're not happy about that. He's all like, oh, she's just trying to sabotage men that work really hard. He's also saying, they're like, oh, what'd you do between 10:30 and 11? He said he went for a run, then went to the pool and swam 12 lengths, showered, went to his room until he heard Flower Boy screaming. That's where he uses the Flower Boy name. There's no one else at the pool with him. He likes going early. Then there's no one there. They're like, what time were you at the pool? And he's like, I don't know, I don't wear a watch, I'm retired. And then they're like, okay, how many people are there? And he's like, oh, no one, I like going early because no one's there. And they're like, but you just said you don't know what time it is. But I don't know, I feel like you can even wear a watch and not know exactly what time it is. I guess he could have given a ballpark around this time though, and he did not. We already know from talking to her that this person that he was seen with him at 10:30 talking to Harry. So we know he's lying. But then because, see, I have them up here, can you see them? Basically these are like the clues you write down at certain parts. So we had A5 written down, which meant we could confront him about saying, oh, we heard a witness say they saw you talking to him in the morning. And he said, yes, I was talking to him. He wasn't using the gym equipment I gave him. I really wanted it back. So that's why he chased him, and that's all we get out of him. He doesn't know that he didn't kill himself. So he's like, when he's like doing yoga while we're chatting, and we're like, oh, but he didn't kill himself. And then he like falls to the ground. He's like, wait, what? But then we're like, hey, but you're lying about this. We know you talked to him this morning. He's like, oh, I didn't want to tell you because you'd think I killed him. And we're like, but you just said you thought he killed himself. So why would you lie? So he's just lying, and everything he's saying, we don't trust him at all. But we're at the next section, and then it says, if you've already questioned either Elena or Carla, turn to 120, which means we have to go to 120, and I can't question Carla yet. But that's okay. I feel like we got good information, and I feel like at this point it was more important to get like a timeline. So right now we know that he was the last one to see. I am back with notes. I'm going to put them up as I go this time though. We went back. Where were we? We were just talking to him. We go back to the main office and we see a bunch of guests trying to leave because someone's dead and they don't want to be murdered either. One of them is like, so we met Mr. Jones and his wife, and they're just like, we want to leave, let us leave. And we're like, no, sorry, can't happen. So I don't know if they'll be important. They might be. Staff can leave, but they have to come back tomorrow. And 6 people were meant to leave today, and Carla is one of them, so we're going to talk to her hopefully soon. As we're chatting and getting these people back to their rooms, some lady starts trying to barge in, and that is Flora Kennedy. She's a heavyset blonde woman with a lot of gold jewelry, rings, necklaces, bangles, earrings, makeup done, false lashes, just basically it describes her as like having so much to show off and kind of be extra extravagant when you don't really need to be. Says that she's here to surprise her husband. And then we have to tell her he's dead. She says this is not his kind of thing. He's more of a steak and car guy. She didn't even know he was here. He said he needed a break, left a week ago, like not a week ago. What did he say? A few days ago. I need to check if it was a week ago. He packed last week and he left. She got a brochure of this place in the mail this morning, which is suspicious. She decided to go surprise him. Oh, he would never go to a place like this, but she would if someone else paid. And then they own Kennedy Construction. She's a partner in it, so if he dies, she gets the entire business, which is what's happening right now. She did not know that the building was not going to be approved by the MP. It also says he kept with the nitty-gritties and she just kind of helped out with some other stuff. And then from 10 to 11, she said she was at an appointment with her solicitor and proctor on Greenleaf Lane, which is 30 minutes away from where we are. At 9:30 is when the appointment was, and then she left at 10:30 and was home by 11. And home is Monacaround Avenue, I don't know how to say it, which is 10 minutes away, which they say in the book technically leads up, but we find out she drives a red Ferrari convertible, and they're like, that though is really fast, so she could have come here, killed her husband, gone back. Which I don't know. And they're like, would she be able to sneak in? She says she's never been here before. She has the brochure, like, suspicious. But then she leaves. We get her to leave. We get one of the officers to drive her home because she just found out her husband died, so we're not gonna let her drive home alone. McAdams comes in, is like, hey, inspector, look what I found. She was looking in the car and found an envelope that was divorce papers. Maybe things weren't as cheery. She does say that, like, her and her husband, like, weren't always together, like they took a lot of holidays without each other and spent time without each other. But now, where's the book? I need the book. We have to decide on 2 things. Compliment Sergeant McAdams on her initiative, or reprimand her for making an illegal search, which I'm gonna do the illegal search. I thought about it, like, depended how bad it was, but going through someone's car, like I thought the first part, it says she looked, because on the chair was the brochure of this place, and then on the windshield thing was the divorce papers, which she opened, and I would have been like, if she glanced in and saw it on the chair, I would have been like, yeah, but she opened the envelope. So I'm like, we're gonna reprimand her. A choice must be made. We're gonna search his room and his timetable. So I can either search Kennedy's bedroom myself while McAdams checks his timetable, or I can check his timetable and she can search his room. And we've already said this earlier, I don't trust her, so I'm gonna leave her the timetable because I feel like she can't mess that up. One thing I wanted to mention too, I was chatting with my mother about this, and she brought up a good point because I was just telling her generally, and she's like, how are their flowers? Like, I was like, oh, no one's been there, but the flower, and she's like, how is there flowers on the balcony if no one's been there? And I'm like, that's valid. Like, they said there were 2 flower pots, so how are the flowers there if no one goes to the balcony to take care of them? I don't know. It didn't say they didn't look taken care of, so a little bit suspicious. Last check-in for today, I just got to the part where Dr. Wash just called to give the forensic report, but before that, I searched the room. His room has 2 windows. One leads to the grounds and one shows the main drive with that path coming up and the river and stuff. And then his room was like empty, like there wasn't much in it, but in the wardrobe I found a small gray backpack with a laptop in it, and I left it on the table for forensics. They hadn't arrived yet, but I also found a jacket with keys, a wallet. His wallet had a credit card, coffee shop card, driver's license. Also in the wallet, and a secret, like kind of hidden when I was taking out some of the cards, there's a photo that looks to be about 22 years old, and it's of Harry and Carla. So, suspicious. Why did they have a photo together? Their arms around each other. Then I looked for Tank stuff. Where is he? Tank stuff, because he said he left all that gym equipment. None of it is in there, and his room's kind of empty otherwise. McAdams comes back from looking at a schedule. She said it's like really empty. The only thing he ever really signed up for were massages, and he kind of just spent the rest of the days doing nothing. He paid for the Lotus package, which is VIP and is $9 grand a week, paid in advance. And he was to stay for 2 more days. Carla's looking sus, but Tank though, he said he was buying the gym stuff. I don't know, suspicious. Everyone's suspicious. Kind of the point, I assume. I think one of the downsides to this is that you can't tell how far through the book you are, because like, you're jumping places all the time. So like right now I'm here, but I'm not actually there. So I don't know how much, like how far the story I am. It's so fun. I'm having a great time. This is really fun. I will see you tomorrow while I continue this book. I'm back. It's the next day. So we're back to solving this mystery. The first thing we did today was we had to go back to the morgue to talk to Dr. Wash about the body. So we got that. It died from this really long word, which basically just means bleeding out. She can't actually tell if it's from the chest wound or from the head. When we were there originally, she said it was from the chest, but now she can't tell. He also could have been hit on the head, but the damage to the head from the fall is like, makes it hard to tell. He has weird red circle burns along his spine that look to be about 6 hours before. There is dirt under his nails, but that's probably just from like the balcony. He has slices and bruising on his right arm only. And in the book, the detective is like, oh, that might be from the glass windows, that panes that were broken on the door. So he was probably pushed or fell through the door, and that's why it broke, and that's why he has cuts on only his right arm and not his left. The watch that he was wearing or had in his pocket stopped at 10:43, which is what we can assume is when he fell. When it hit the ground, it broke and stopped at that time. Oh, and she said the plant could have been in his mouth before he fell. And the clothing that Stephen gave us did have the victim's blood on it. So we did touch him and got his blood on him. What else? Oh, we also got the phone record back. So the phone record said that got a text 3 days ago from Carla, and it is this. Yeah, it's in code. So I've been trying to solve this. I kind of got distracted trying to solve it, and I have a bunch of different attempts here. But yeah, it's kind of hard, and I was like, I just should keep reading and deal with this later, because I tried doing, like, there's these 2 words with apostrophes. They have the same ending. So I did don't and won't, but that didn't end up working with some of the other letters, and then like are the 2 separate. It was just a whole thing. I'll try again maybe. But yeah, I moved on for now to see what else we would find out. So his business is doing really bad. They have like no money. They have a bunch of loans that they're not paying off, and they haven't been paying them off. However, 3 weeks ago, he paid £7,000 to Standard Umbrella for consulting fees, and they've never worked with this company called Standard Umbrella before. So suspicious. Other phone records, he did not pay to stay at this place. There was no payment for this place. So either he's staying there for free or someone else paid for him. And one more phone record thing, he received a phone call, the phone call that Elena said that he left to take. He actually took that phone call at 10:20 a.m. and it lasted 3 minutes, which is 25 minutes before the body was found and 10 minutes before Elena had said he had left to take a phone call. So that means he took the phone call during their appointment. So she lied. And the person he called, I have that written down, Robert Graham. And who is Robert Graham? He owns Burrowed Lands Estate, which is the place that Harry was trying to buy to build on. But now we're given 3 options. I have A8, add A8 to my notes, and location 1. And location 1 just means we can only check 2 locations, but we're given 3 we can check. We can either check Birdland's housing estate, Carla's office, or Laura Kennedy's solicitor. My thought process originally was to do the Birdland's estate and Flora's solicitor, just because we've actually chatted with them and we have like a story with them that we can try to compare to this story. I am back. I have been gone for a little bit because I had other stuff to do, and also I have spent like 2 hours now trying to decode that stupid message. Still haven't figured it out. I wrote it like this so I could easier fill it in and like above, and then I counted how many times each one appears. I did this. This was me trying to figure out if it's shifted at all, which I don't think it is. This was me like trying to figure out, because there's the 2 apostrophe words, right? So the only 2 that I can find right now are won't and don't, but then it doesn't, and the O, because there's that double O, which is really weird in 2 spots, and it doesn't really make sense, but it's the only letter because it's the only letter that's capitalized. So it has to be an I. This is what I have so far. It doesn't really mean anything, doesn't say anything. I'm trying. I'm not getting anywhere. Well, I was kind of getting somewhere, and now I'm stumped again. It was about a half-hour drive to the place. It was really busy, struggling to get there. And when we get there, we took a look at like where he wants to build, and it definitely looks like, because at the beginning it said it's been a really hot time and like there hasn't been much water, but everything there is still green because it's like a flooding area. It's like the sheep pastures, then it's plants, and then the estate that's built that we were going to visit, which is Burland's estate. We get there, and we're of course going to talk to Robert. But when we get there, a lady and a child open the door, and this turns out to be, who do we think? Elena's sister. Bum, bum, bum. That's gonna fall off the wall now that I've touched it. And we're like, hey, your husband there? And she's like, yeah, here he is. He comes in and he says, I haven't talked to him in weeks. And then she's like, let's go outside and talk. Turns out she called him. These houses are like, the reason that when we get there, we drive by, we see like 4 of them up for sale. And we're like, what is happening? Seems like a nice place. But she said like the house is falling apart, the windows are leaking, like there's so many problems with the house. Harry, his company was in charge of building these houses. And she said, they've had the house for 4 years. It has a 10-year warranty, but only a 2-year defects insurance policy. So Harry's saying he can't fix it and won't pay for it. So they're freaking out. They have a newborn child. Like, they want a nice home and a safe home for their child, but they don't have that anymore. So they've been calling him, trying to get him to that, and they were going to take him to court because they're like, this is not how this works. You built these houses wrong. And then we say, hey, what time did you call to try to test her? And she tells us that she called him at 10:20. Like, she gets the phone and checks. So she does tell the truth. And then we ask her, you came at the same time as your sister, which we know that she came after her sister. And she's like, no, I came after my sister. My sister got assaulted at work, moved here for better work, and she said it was good. So I joined her shortly after. So she told the truth both times when we told her things. So far, they seem very trustworthy. They just seem to hate Harry because they bought a house that he built and it's really bad. Oh, this is the other thing. They also said that after they called him saying, oh, we're going to take you to court, someone started spying on their house. Guess who was spying on their house? Bald guy with tattoos, Tank Destroyer. So Tank has been spying on them. They have a camera, like doorbell, so they show us the video footage of him walking on the street and kind of staring at the house. And he apparently only has started doing it a month ago. Only does it when Roxana's alone and never comes by if either her husband or her sister are there. And then we look into it like, oh, who's selling these homes? Because it's the same person selling all the homes. It is Standard Umbrella, which, where have we heard this before? They paid Standard Umbrella for that $7,000 for the fee, consultancy fee. There it is, I found it. Consultancy fee. And guess who owns this and is the director or / shareholders? It is Carla. So Carla, big sus right now. I don't know, I feel like they're trying to make us think they did it because her sister lied about seeing her on the phone, but like they were very honest. Like, they looked nervous, but they were very honest when I was there, and they didn't try to hide anything. They were like, no, I chatted with him, here's the exact time, this. So I feel like they're pretty good, they're telling the truth. Yeah, so I think I'm going to visit Flora Kennedy's solicitor, because then we can prove her alibi, be like, oh, she didn't do it, she wasn't there, she was with him, can't prove it. And then we know, cross someone off, no, they didn't do it, and if we find out more suspicion. And we were also told it's going to rain tomorrow, because when I drove to check out the one place, they said, oh, it's going to rain tomorrow, so this is your only chance to check it out. So I did check it out. Also learn, if you're trying this, write down what you've jumped from, because my bookmark fell out, and I was like, what page? But luckily I'm doing this video, so I checked my last few recordings, because I always keep saying which one I'm flipping to, and I was able to find one and then flip through the couple decisions I made to find where I was. But yeah, write that down because it's helpful. Got some more reading to do, and then I might stare at that stupid thing again and try to figure it out. We went to see the proctor, and he said that, yeah, they had a meeting. She was there at 9:30 and left before 10:30, which according to the thing gives her enough time to get to the place and back. But I remember being really confused about that and not really thinking that she could make it there in minutes. I don't understand how she can make it in time. I'm confused. But they said that it gives her enough time. Then while we're there chatting with him, we see her pull up on her Ferrari. We asked the proctor when he was hired, because he's only hers. He's not for their family. He's literally just her private proctor. He said he was hired in February, so almost a year. We confront her at the door and we're like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, I have to meet with him because of the death. I have to tell him. McAdams is like, oh, talk about your divorce, huh? And she's like, what? No. I've asked him about my sister's divorce, but I'm not getting a divorce. We tell her about the debt. She's like, what? No, he didn't have any debt. So she's still pretty shocked about that. And then we go home, sleep, try to sleep, wake up in the morning, get in the car, vroom vroom back to work. And while we're vroom vrooming, McAdams is like, we got her. Apparently the camera shows Flora heading from her appointment towards the health wellness retreat place. She disappears from the cameras for 10 minutes, and when she's back, she's heading away from it. So, suspicious. Flora here in the morning showed up at the wellness place and is like, hey, my husband has a package here, I want it. So basically what happened is Jennifer had a package delivered for Harry, and she's like, he's dead now, I don't know what to do with this. So she called Flora and was like, hey, do you want your husband's package? She drove over there, she's like, yes, I want the package. But our constable is over there and he's like, no, you can't take this, it's gonna be evidence now. And he's like, it would be better if she heard it from you. But then our other, McAdams, is like, no, we gotta go check out this footage and see if she's on the CTV. So we're like, hey, constable, do you need her help? And he said, I can handle it. And it sounds like he's forced confidence. So I'm not gonna trust him, because my one rule going into this is anything I can do over anyone else, I'm gonna do it because I trust me more. And also because he called and said, it would be better if she would hear it from you. So obviously if it was a situation he could handle, he would have just handled it. So we're gonna go help him. We have lots of new information. Honestly, I could kind of remove this. We have learned more about McAdams and like her family. Like she has 2 kids and a Corky and stuff. And then we also know someone named Penny now. But I feel like they all work with us, and it's not gonna, like, we have enough suspects. We don't need to deal with them. So I'll put stuff here now. Harry's wife was like, hey, I want that package. And we don't really know why. So what do we do now? So basically it was raining and we get there. Jennifer's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know what to do. Guests normally don't get things delivered here. So I just called her. Package is 4 inches by 4 by 6 and 2 deep, so a small package, and it's from Wolverhampton, some industrial place. And we're gonna open it. We're like, okay, we're gonna take this to the back, open it, but no. Flora's like, I want it. She grabs it from us because it was raining, it was wet, it rips open, and silver foil packages go everywhere, along with blue diamonds, and it's Viagra. Cool vibes. And everyone's like, there's like a crowd of people and they're like, haha, that's so funny. She eventually, when we interview her, I'll get to that, she says that she knew it was gonna be something embarrassing, so she wanted it, and that's why she was so like, I need it. We thought who would have sent him something, but they assume he probably ordered it himself. And then people are like, oh, is he sleeping with anyone here? And then Jennifer is like, no one would want to sleep with him, basically. And then Steven steps up, is like, no one sleeps with anyone here, we're respectful. And then Elena's like, no, he's handsy, he's like an octopus with everywhere. So Flora punches him. Lovely. Here we got a choice to talk to either Flora or Elena. I ended up talking to Elena because I felt like she just got hurt. I'm gonna check in with her and be like, is she okay? But we actually do get information from her too. Basically her and the other staff are there and they're just chatting about how he's so touchy with everyone, and they don't tell Steven because he's like, they're rich, they kind of can do whatever they want. Flora says, oh, he would sleep with anything that's young and moves. So just a lovely guy is what we're finding out. We find out that they thought he was paying. They don't know that he's getting for free. They were told by Steven that they should be extra nice to him because he has the Lotus package, which is the highest package, which we already knew. And then we meet Bill, who is Steven's father, who works there as well, and he leads the Tai Chi. And he actually didn't know how to do Tai Chi. He learned it from working there because nepotism. Jennifer makes the joke about nepotism. Oh my gosh, and now I'm covering her. Oh, this is back from when they were in the main area when everyone was talking. Flora is arguing with Steven, and then she doesn't know who Tank is when he talks. She's like, who are you? And then she talks, like Carol says something, Carla, sorry. And she's like, basically like, stand down, and Carla like is scared. So obviously tension there. So we go outside to chat with Jennifer, and Constable's also out there, and we're just chatting with them because Jennifer's taking a vaping break, which kind of makes us think of the roses scent that was in the room that with the balcony that he fell off of. But she was also in that room when she helped Stephen unlock it. So like she was in there, but was she in there to cover up that the room already smelled like that because she was in there with him? We're chatting with her and she tells us that she looked into who has what package and if it was free. Harry has a free package completely and Tank got an upgrade. So he normally gets a rose package, which is a pay-as-you-go, and he normally gets stays for 5 days every month. But it's upgraded to him. In his notes, it just says upgrade to Lotus package. It doesn't say why. And then we also find out that Carla has a record. She shoplifted in her 20s. And then we get the laptop information. Basically, there are photos of him and Carla from all different kind of time periods, and they're like pretty cozy with each other. And there's especially one of them going to a nightclub, it looks like, because their outfits. We get 2 more text message decode things. So this one is from an unknown number to Harry 20 days ago, and this one is from Harry to Carla 13 days ago. Also, when I showed that one, the V's look like U's. There's no V's in that one. My U's all look like V's and my V's look like U's. And now that there are V's in this one, I have to be more careful. So this was kind of what I had. I kind of got maybe it's you and what that. I looked up 4-letter words that start and end with T, and then I put every single one of those with a D, and then A, every single one with a D, and then every single one with a W, and crossed out the ones that aren't words until I got words. So that's why I got the what, that. But then I was like, oh, maybe that doesn't. So then I tried this one where like this one was instead, and then maybe that's like some kind of other word. It's hard. But now that we have these two, and there's like 2-letter words, because this didn't have any 2-letter words, but this one does, and it has some of the same stuff as here. It has another apostrophe. You know, maybe this will help me solve it. I really want to solve it before it tells me. I know it's going to, because it just said when I got those messages that Penny, who is the tech person, like going through all the text and phones and stuff for us, she can decode it in a little bit, but I want to do it. It's fun. So we'll see if I can decode this. I feel like now with those, I have a better chance. It is late, it is dinner. I'm gonna go eat dinner and then I will continue reading tomorrow. This is taking me way longer than I thought it was going to. I thought I could solve this in a day. It is now, tomorrow will be day 3 of trying to solve this. So I am laying in bed working on the cipher thing, and some words work and then we have tell that works, but like that's the issue. None of the letters are lining up perfectly. And then I had a realization. I was like trying to rewrite it because I'm like, I'm just gonna rewrite it, that will help. Turns out letters can be 2 different things. So if it's a U, it can either be an O or an L. And I figured this out because I was doing the sentence, don't think I won't tell. And in the sentence, U is L and U is also O. And I'm like, but that doesn't work. You can't flip that. Like it has to be O and it has to be L. There's no other words that would work, letters that would work. So I went through and then I realized that E can be A or V and then A can be U or R. So I'm going to work on finishing it. I think I have it now. Hi, it's the next day. Day 3 is solving this mystery and I solved these riddly things, the messages. Oh my gosh, I spent so long on it too. Like, I swear I stared at it for so many hours. So we had like this part where it was like, you knew what that $7,000, but 7 didn't work because E was already A, but then it also kind of needed to be V. But then I noticed, especially because I didn't have this word right, but then in here I got all, and it had to be L, like it had to. That's the only word that really works there. So I'm like, what the heck? This doesn't make sense because it needs, U needs to be I, but it also needs to be L. So I'm like, what? So then I'm like, so I started doing this to kind of see, I'm like, wait a second. What if some letters are multiple letters? And turns out, soon enough, E is A and V, A is R and U is I and O, and then I made this, which is how I solved it. Well, I already kind of solved it now, but then I made like a full thing. So each letter for the first row, which is the main row you follow, is shifted 17. And then the next row is shifted, I forget how many, and you shift this way so you get the U and the I to be, and the O. Oops. And then the bottom row is also shifted where you get your A and your E. I'll show how pretty they look. And these are the 3 final messages. That's my cipher. Yeah. 20 days ago from the unknown message. This one's in all caps. It says, you were right, just saw Flower Boy trying to be invisible in a van round the nursery. It's in all caps, and we know who this is now, because who referred to Stephen as Flower Boy? Tank. Tank has called Stephen Flower Boy when we first interviewed him. 13 days ago, we have from Harry to Carla, we have Send me your dates and I'll match 6 days. He'll make space for me if he knows what's good for him. So I'm assuming that is about his trip to this place. And then lastly, 3 days ago, from Harry to Carla again, you knew what that $7 grand was for. Don't think I won't tell if you back out. Very suspicious, all of this. And now, let's see what we have our choices. So it's still during the day, and we have 3 choices. We can interview Elena again. We can follow up with Carla, which we actually haven't got to talk to Carla yet. We could talk to Stephen or Tank. Something is going on. Obviously, we kind of want to know what Carla is backing out of, and we haven't talked to her yet, so it would probably be good to talk to her. But then also, I want to talk to Stephen because now that we know what these say, that you were right, Flower Boy's doing something around there, I feel like I had a gut instinct to go talk to Stephen again. I don't know. I think I should talk to Carla. I have not talked to her yet. I've been wanting to talk to her. I've been waiting for an opportunity. So I should go talk to her. We are in the room. We just found Carla. She's meditating in some room. And guess what? It says, have you decoded the first message received from Harry Kennedy's phone? If so, write P3 in your notebook, then multiply the number in the message by 14 and turn to that section. Otherwise, go to 95. And guess what? I decoded it, so I get to turn. I just have to remember which the first one was. I'm just so happy I was able to decode this. There's got to be like a most efficient path in this book of like what the best way is. I don't know, this just seems like such a cool book and such a like interesting. I'm having so much fun. I need to see if they have any more of these books, if they're gonna make any more, because this is so much fun. I'm having a blast. We went and chatted with her and she's like, I don't know why he sent it. I was gonna send it back, but he's dead now. She did, though, eventually, because we're like, hey, why are your dates together? He said, send me your dates and we'll be there the same time. She said, they used to date, but she's been married 20 years now, so she would not. But she said, Jennifer is his type. He would totally date her. She said, ask her how many of those 10-minute vaping breaks she's taking. So, specials. And then we ask her about that, and she's kind of just like, no comment the entire time. So, not much out of her, but a little bit. And then also we're like, oh, maybe the storage room is what people were using as like the affair room. That is the $7 grand that his company had paid the Standard Umbrella in consulting fees. And Standard Umbrella is owned by her, that whole thing. Now it's time to choose the next interview, which again is now Elena, Stephen, or Tank. So I want to do Stephen and Tank, but I'm trying to decide what order I want to do them, because we know Tank lies to us. He did last time, but when we had more information to confront him with, he told the truth. Well, maybe the truth. But the question is, you were right, saw Flower Boy trying to be invisible in the van. So, but the only thing is we don't really, if we tell Stephen about that, there's nothing to confront him with, he can just dodge it, where if we tell Tank about it, he already seems to not like Flower Boy, so maybe he'll tell us what it is, then we can confront Stephen. So we're gonna talk to Tank first, is the plan. Let's go. Also, found out I did not finish this one. I actually forgot to write the last 2 words down. It's bought 4 pallets. I forgot. I was so careful this entire time and I forgot 2 words. Information we get from Tank. He lied. I actually forgot that he said, basically, Tank apparently had said that he met him this week, but he did not. He actually met Harry 6 months ago at a business thing, and they decided to like give money for into each other's business. Honestly, this entire time he's like lying. I don't know, he's like being cocky about it, and he just feels like everything doesn't really add up properly. Like there's gaps in everything. He told them about this place, but Harry did not seem interested. Then a month ago, he got a call and Harry said he's going if you want to come as well. But then he also says that Harry had told him, hey, next time you're at the place, keep an eye on Stephen. He seems suspicious. I feel like he's sneaking away when people aren't. So if he's never been there before, this is his first time there, but like, I don't know, see, it just doesn't make sense. So they were spying on him, well, he did, and he found him buying pallets of flowers, which basically is bad because the whole point of this place is they grow their own fresh flowers and they're special flowers. So they were blackmailing him, and that's why Harry is there for free and why Tank got an upgrade. Also, the encoded thing, Tank had made an app that encodes messages. So he was like, pat on the back that you got it. We asked if he gave it to Carla, and it said he looks like he'd rather punch her in the kidney. So it means that Harry gave Carla the app. And then we asked him a little again about his alibi. He said he went to the pool, swam, then went for a run. He Didn't really see anyone on his run. However, he did when he entered through the front of the building when he finished his run. He went through an awful strawberry scent cloud, which is Jennifer's vape. He says he didn't see her, but no one else vapes, so he's like, it's all her awful scent. Everything he says is suspicious and just doesn't make sense. Especially too, like, he always gets the cheapest package, but apparently according to Google, he's like a billionaire, and then he's always looking for people to invest, and he said, I don't really need people to invest because everyone's always investing in me, and he didn't care that Harry didn't have any money, but I don't know if he didn't know. But now we can either talk to Elena or Stephen. And I'm gonna talk to Stephen because have some questions for him about other stuff. Also, we didn't get to question Tank on, we didn't find his water bottle and fitness band in the bedroom, so obviously he was lying about that too. So basically we talked to Stephen in the green room, and basically it's really stormy out and we're looking around and all these plants are like dying, so he is doing, like, the plants are not great. And when we're in there, guess what we find in the greenhouses, in the dirt, buried? The key to the room that was locked and it has blood on it. Sus. We head back to the room, the chandelier falls, storm, everything, you can't get out, the river's flooded, like, basically everyone's trapped here, and we are too. Then we get a call from the doctor. Ding, ding, ding. Doctor's like, hey, the blood in the sink, it's two, we get Harry's blood, Carlo's blood, and at least one other, but we don't have their DNA, so we can't prove yet. And then the arm bruising is from at least 48 hours before. Also, we get some of his emails back. His emails have him talking to a solicitor asking about the housing and if he's required to pay back people for that, and he's not because the 2 years has passed, so he's not required to do anything or fix any of the houses. So there's a lot of emails from him to Tank. Tank never responds, and he's really mad and just like asking for money. And he's also messaging other people, but when he messages Tank, it's specifically aggressive. And now it gives us the text messages. It gives us the reason and how they're decoded. So the decode is the shifted backwards. I shifted forwards by 17, but it's actually shifted backwards by 9, I think. Yeah, it's 9. But that's basically the same thing. I had just shifted other ones because I kind of figured out based on like context what the vowels needed to be. And it turns out that what it is that the vowels are rotated backwards 1 when it's a vowel that you have to figure out based on context. And at the end, it's like, if you've already decoded the messages alone, give yourself a pat on the back and you'll score additional points at the end of the book. I did it. It was really fun. I had a great time. I like solving puzzles and stuff like this. But now we have to chat and look, because apparently there's more information about these text messages. We can chat with McAdams. Finished going over all the text message stuff. All I've really learned is just more stuff that I was thinking, but now the characters are saying it, that she's probably being bribed to say yes to him building all those houses. But the one thing that's throwing me off is they keep saying that she and Harry are staying for the same 6 days. But we know that's not true because at the beginning, it was literally said that he had 3 more days on his stay. I swear it said he had 3 more days on his stay and she was leaving today. So they only overlapped for 3 days, but they keep saying, oh, they overlapped. I'm like, but I don't think they did. Okay, cut this out if I've already said this. Basically, it was raining, the chandelier smashed through the top and just chaos is happening. Flora escaped from being watched by the constable. She's being sus. Then she's talking to Tank weirdly, but then Tank runs when we go over to see them. And then we're just chatting with Jennifer and she's like, oh yeah, I did give him the bruises. He came on to me and I pushed him off. And then the lights go out, lovely, you know, so fun. Things are just getting worse. And Tank runs. He just bolts down the river, jumps in the river, starts drowning. We ask the constable to jump in and save him. He saves him. We get him back inside. He's like, Stephen's gonna kill me. He was running at me with a hammer. And we're like, he just said he's gonna go fix the roof. So he has a hammer to go fix the roof. And then Jennifer's like, I'll go downstairs and turn on the generator. And then there's a scream. And then it's Flora attacking her. And then she's like, yeah, I was gonna attack her because she killed Harry. And I know she did. And I was gonna attack her and she was gonna tell the truth. But big thing here, how did Flora know about the storage room? How did she know about the key? How does she, like, there's a lot of sus things that all of a sudden Flora knows. And why does she know these things? We didn't tell her these things. Now we can, what can we do? Leave the cellar, interview Stephen. again, or we can help Jennifer turn on the generator. And I'm gonna help her turn on the generator because if we turn on the generator, everyone is safer. I was not ready for this. I have to accuse someone. Okay, and now it says I can either accuse Elena, Carla, Flora, Jennifer, Steven, or Tank. Oh my gosh. I have all this information. And you know what I still know? Nothing. No, I don't. I'm so scared right now. Like I actually need to like go have a mental breakdown first before I choose because I actually can't. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so hard and I want to get it right so bad. Is there like something I'm missing? Is there like a sign? Okay, who do we have evidence? Who do we have evidence against? Okay, these are my three like main theories. Carla was waiting for him. Something happened, they were having a discussion. She's like, no, I can't do this. I'm backing out of our agreement. He's like, you can't back out, starts going at her. She grabs, goes to stabby stab, whatever, clean things up. But the rose in the mouth too. The rose in the mouth is so weird. See, that's why it could be like Jennifer, like as like a message, like you're hurting all our roses. So the rose went in the mouth because they call the staff the roses. And she's like, you stop hurting all the roses and pushes him over. And then it could be Flora because she like finds out he's cheating. See, it's hard because I keep trying to justify him like any one of them, like killing him causes problems because they're going to go to jail. So why kill? Like, why is it such a big deal to kill? So it had to be more of a passion thing. So maybe it is Tank. Maybe that's his easy answer. Tank was the last one seen with him. It is Tank. Tank killed him because the money, they were fighting over the money. They were walking off together. They sat in the room. But then Tank ran because he thought he was going to be killed. But maybe he was just trying to get away. But why put that much flag on yourself if you're trying to run? My gosh. And the strawberry scent in the room. But he opened the door and she was in there. But they don't vape inside the house. So that wouldn't make sense unless she was in that room vaping with him. And the flower in the mouth. If Tank didn't, what's the point of the flower in the mouth? There's no point of the flower in the mouth. Why put a flower in his mouth? That's why I'm like Jennifer. Or Elena, because like here's the point, you know, stop hurting our flowers. I just had a realization because his phone was shattered and thrown, so whoever did this didn't want his phone stuff to be seen, which then kind of gets rid of Jennifer, Elena, and Flora, because why would they need to get rid of his phone so aggressively? You know? We're down to 3 because of the stupid phone thing. They needed that phone to be destroyed. So we're down to those 3 because only those 3 really had a reason that they needed that phone gone because it had bad messages on it. And then the rose. Rose leads me towards Steven or Carla. Like there's so many better hiding spots than a stupid garden. But then Tank really hates Steven. So if Tank did it, then he put it in the garden because he's trying to frame Steven because he hates him. And he was in exercise clothes, so he kills him, heads down to his room, changes into running gear, goes for a little run, drops it in the greenhouse, runs back around to the front, walks in. What's going on here? The most evidence we have is towards Carla. Maybe I should just arrest her. You know what? Arrest the Carla, you know, because her DNA is there. Maybe that's what it is. We have DNA placing her at the scene. Maybe it was her. At least we have DNA evidence proving she's there. And if she gets off, the phone's important too. Because why smash the phone so hard it can't turn on? So she has a lot to hide. Kind of leaning forward to Carla and Tank, but the rose in the mouth just throws me off. But the phone, I feel like the phone's more important. Like you're gonna smash the phone more. But the rose is so like specific. Like why place a rose in the mouth? Carla it feels like there's so much evidence pointing to her, but it just feels like that's such a bad mistake to make as an MP that she like wouldn't do it. Like the only thing like pushing me away from Tank is the stupid rose in the mouth. But he knows things to frame people because he knew about the strawberry scent. So he mentions it casually saying, oh, she's the only one that does that. And then also she puts he's like, if he did it, he's framed multiple people on purpose almost to make it look like he didn't do it. I've returned, calmed down a bit. Just had a freak out again about this. Ranted to my mother about this for way too long, and then was freaking out on the stairs. I need to calm down. It's just a book. She was like, it's just a book. I'm like, but is it? Feels like a little bit more than a book. Okay. I don't feel calm at all, but I'm trying. Calm. Well, because they're the only messages Oh. But like maybe that's a red herring to throw us off. Those are the only messages. Because she was like, when we talked to her, she was like, whatever, you can talk to me, I don't care. But then she kept saying no comment to everything. I don't know, her DNA is in the room. But maybe I am allowed to arrest and be wrong. Yeah. So if I arrest, we have your DNA at the scene, we're arresting you under suspicions. I am going to accuse Carla because we have her DNA at the scene, and then maybe the book will be nice and it will be like, oh, you were wrong, but you get to try again kind of thing. Because, you know, we have the DNA, so we can prove she's there. And honestly, all you're needing to do is prove they were there. Done. I give up. I need to just stop because I'm spiraling, and picking one is the best option. She's being blackmailed. It's bad for her reputation. She's also having an affair with him, so maybe things were going wrong. They had a fight the night before. The night before they were arguing. Maybe they went to meet up in the morning to, like, you know, fix things. They get mad, into another argument, stab. See, but the force, it said it would become effort, but I feel like it just meant it requires effort. Like, you can't just like, oops. It needs like a, huh, stop being like that. Or like it was an accidental, maybe he fell, hit his head, hurt himself. She stabbed the rose. I don't know. She's like, oh no, a rose, grab, throw the rose in the mouth. No, I'm asking you a question. I went down a spiral again. Okay, I'm doing Carla. We're stopping this before I spiral again. Carla did it because of the blackmail. She smashed the phone because they wanted to get rid of their text messages, went back down to class. But what if Steven did it because the blood? He actually had blood. No one else was found with bloody clothing. Oh my gosh, but she changed. Remember I said that she changed because she says when she did it, she was going to Tai Chi class, and then she ends up actually, when we see her, when we're interviewing, she's in white tennis clothing. And maybe that's something to throw us off. She's wearing all white to be all innocent. Ooh, okay, we're going with Carla. I'm stopping this. She's saying no, she didn't do it, but it says the end here. So later you consider what went wrong. Were you right to accuse Carla, but simply didn't have enough evidence? Were you wrong about her motivation, or was someone else together all again? Simply wipe your notebook and return to one, try again. And for now, this is the end. That's so annoying. Okay, wait, what page was I on? I was not gonna get it. It was Elena. I wanted so bad to get this. I think that's just why I'm kind of upset. But I'm realizing some of the stuff I overlooked. I got too caught up in all the small details and what I didn't know that I should have focused on what I did know and not just writing off people. I forgot another detail. See, I should have just been more thorough, and then I was going to almost rewrite everything and then think about it. But then I'm like, no, I've spent already 3 days on this. I can't spend more. The red marks on his back, they're hot stones. She was burning. She heard him talking to his sister, realized that he's the one that's been making her sister's life horrible, started burning him with the hot stones. She was upset that it's the same as back home. People are still the same. So then she took things into her own hands. Because he saw him run. She saw Tank run after him, but he didn't want to talk. Probably because he ran from her, went and hid in the room, and she came in after. Yeah. The rose thing is what I thought. She put the rose in the mouth for all those little roses that were attacked by. So I was on the right track with that. I just needed to follow through with it all the way to her. I'm an idiot. I feel like I thought that like her doing it because he hurt her and stuff was also like too cliche of like a thing. So it's like, no, but it says scoring. Congratulations, you've solved the murder, which I didn't really solve. I literally looked at every single person and then looked at her. So I think I deserve negative 100 points. I think there was a lot of evidence. As I said, I think I said like 100 times, I'm missing something. 100 times, and yes I was. Maybe there's another book like this, because this is so much fun and I need to do this again. Below are clues numbers you may have found with reading. Check each number clue and add the points together. That is your total. Not all of these clues were necessary to solve the crime, but they reflect on your investigative powers. Also note, some clues were missteps, which are worth minus points. Lovely. I probably got a lot of those. Let's do what we have. We have A2. A2 is 5. And then if you copied out the encoded message by hand when you were first given them, then award yourself 5 extra points for diligence. Of course I did that, so 5 extra points. If you deciphered any of the message before she gives you the cipher, award yourself 10 points per message, so 30 points. Oh my god, I don't know what to do. I just recorded like 10 minutes of me being super happy and excited and like freaking out about how much I love this book and explaining everything, and I don't know if I have audio for any of it. That's so annoying. I'm so sad. I've been so careful with my mic this entire time and then dies on me there. I got Master Detective, which 120 points, which I joke I obviously didn't get from this, probably just because I decoded these on my own. This is so fun. I really love this and want to try another book. This, I had so much fun. I'm just, I don't even know what to say. I'm just so happy, but yeah, okay. That's where I'm gonna end it because I don't know what to do now. I panicked that I just lost all the audio.